Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Hat, and today we're going over Creed, which came out in 2015, and it was directed by Ryan Coogler, who also wrote this movie. This is the first movie of the franchise, and Creed 2, I believe, that's not written by Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, that's what I meant to say, you know what I mean. I finally knocked this franchise out. This is the last one. I already did Creed 2 when it came out. Creed 2 was the first Rocky/Creed movie. They're all in the same franchise. Some people say, Creed and Creed 2 are like their separate thing, but, it has Rocky in them, so I think they go together. It's all part of one franchise. You could call it like a spin-off series with like all these Creed movies. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more. I doubt they'll make 6 of them like they did with the Rockies, but I would consider them together. So when I do my ranking video after this, I will be including the 2 Creed movies in that ranking. But I'm done, alright? I fucking knocked them out. I'm done. Creed 2 was the first one I saw, and now Creed 1 was the last one I saw. That's a weird order. I went just started at the end, and I went back around. But let's get into this movie. Alright, so I don't have anything negative to say about this movie. Like, other than the fact that it still kind of borrows the same things from other movies. You got the same type of, like, setup, kind of like in Rocky 1, Creed has his love interest. She has a disability. Kind of like, you could argue that Adrian had her, like, social disability. She was very antisocial. She was weird. Now we got the kind of like the same thing going on here. Creed, he also has like this trainer who does not want to train him, like Mickey didn't want to train Rocky in the first one. He was like, nope, I'm not training you. This guy in this movie who doesn't want to train Creed for some reason. There's just like little elements that I felt like they were borrowed from the first one. So like all these movies, they kind of like feel the same to me. Like I said, there's not very much different about them. But let's just talk about this movie. All right, so what do I like about it? Alright, so this movie opens up like 1998. We see Creed like 12, 13 years old. He was born after his dad died, and apparently his dad had an affair. So the mom finds out about him, goes and picks him up. The mom that we see briefly in part 2, maybe a little bit in 4. Yeah, we see her in 4. But she picks him up. It's her, I guess you can say half son? No, stepson, because that's not her. It's like I said, he cheated on her. We find out, but Creed's been fighting his entire life, and he's 30 years old in this movie. If you do the math, he's 30 years old, just like Rocky was 30 years old in the first one. Like it's like he's going down the same path as Rocky. He's basically trained himself his whole life. He's very good. So that was one question I was asking, like, why do you need training? It looks like you're pretty good. But he's doing like small local fights in like Mexico. Just like Rocky in the first one was doing small fights with Spider Rico. Lots of little things borrowed from the first one. That's what I was talking about. But one day he just decides, I'm going to just quit my job. He has this very nice job, big office, just got promoted, and he quits. He's got this nice car, goes back home, tells the mom, I quit, I'm going to pursue boxing. And I'm guessing that Creed's life insurance policy must have been a shit ton. Because does Creed's wife work? What did she do? Because she still got that big-ass mansion 30 years later, so I'm guessing that Creed had a lot of money before he died. You'd be surprised how long you can live off of a few $1,000,000. If you spend it wisely, you can live forever. Not forever, but you know what I mean. There's a gym that's dedicated to Apollo, and Creed in this movie, he doesn't go by Creed. He wants to build his own legacy. We also find out that Creed won that private fight in part 3. I always wondered that, like at the end of part 3, when the Eye of the Tiger song plays, and they're like throwing that punch, and it turns into a painting. In this movie, we finally get an answer. Who won that fight that we didn't get to see? Creed did. Mickey Shrim's still around. Somebody else is running it. Rocky doesn't have it no more. I thought Rocky owned it in part 5, but I guess he gave it away. There's like Rocky 3 posters everywhere, so I thought that was pretty funny. Is that meta? That was the poster, but I guess it's just an actual poster in this world. It didn't say like Rocky 3 on it. That would have been too much. There's some good humor in this movie, just a little bit. There's not too much, just sprinkled here and there. There's some good humor. And it all lands 100%. Stallone gives Creed like this sheet, and he takes a picture of it. Creed does, and then he walks away. He's like, "Aren't you gonna take the paper?" And Creed's like, "I already got it. It's in the cloud." Referring to the iCloud, on your phone. And Stallone's having that old guy moment, like, what cloud? He's like looking up at the sky. I thought that was hilarious. Creed meets this deaf girl who I saw in Creed 2. So when I saw her in this movie, I'm like, oh, they end up together and they get married in Creed 2. So I kind of already saw what their relationship was going to lead to in this movie, so it wasn't a surprise to me that she ended up dating him. I saw it coming because I saw Creed 2 first. But she's like giving him like sign language lessons, and it was like sign language that I already know. She teaches him bullshit, which is like the one thing that I know in cussing. Bullshit. Bullshit. Paulie's dead! Yes! He couldn't make it for this film. He's dead. Finally. His character's dead, and I like how Adrian's tombstone actually looks like it's aged. You know, just paying attention to continuity. They have her tombstone look like it's old, which makes sense. But on her tombstone, I think it said 2002 that she died. In Rocky Balboa, she died in 2004. But in this movie, it says that Paulie died in 2012, 3 years before this movie. I don't know what he died from, maybe being a dick. We get some little homages, you know, little things. Not too much like Rocky Balboa, but we get like the chicken chase thing. He's like chasing the chickens like Rocky had to do in Rocky 2. And we also get this moment where there's like this dirt bike gang, and I don't get that part. That's like the weirdest part of the movie. It's like there's like this dirt bike gang, but they're like chasing Creed down the street like those kids did to Rocky in Rocky 2. So we get some little winks and nods to Rocky 2 in this movie too. We find out that Rocky's son moved to Vancouver to be with some woman, and I guess their relationship didn't heal after Rocky Balboa, because why would he move away? Just for a woman, or because he doesn't like Rocky? I don't know what happened between them. We get the British guy, that annoying asshole from Rambo 2007. He's like the British guy who's constantly piss moaning and complaining. He's in this movie as the main villain's like trainer. And the villain in this movie, his name's Collins Pretty Ricky or something, and he's British, so it's like America versus the UK in this movie. But I did say that Tommy Gunn was forgettable, and then I said Mason Dixon was the scrawniest. Well, now I'm taking that all back. This guy, he's not intimidating at all. Like, I'd rather go against... Like, I think Mason Dixon was better than this guy. This guy's probably the chunkiest and not muscular, the least muscular of them all. You know, like Creed steps into the ring, he takes off his shirt, and he's got like a very toned, ripped body and all of a sudden, and then, you know, like Collins gets in there and he takes off his shirt and he's got these man boobs hanging. It's like, there's no definition to your pecs at all. Was he not training, or is he just always like that? But there's like this fight between Creed and this other guy, forget his name, Leo. But it's like all one shot, like the whole 3-minute round. Just like all one shot. And then I think the next round was 3 minutes long, or, you know, it was all one shot. And I love that. Creed gets the shorts that Creed Apollo wore in part 4. Maybe 3, 2. I think he wore them twice. But in part 4, he gets those shorts. This one's probably the most depressing to watch because Rocky gets cancer. He gets the same lymphoma cancer that Adrian had, you know, in between movies. But he gets that and he's taking chemo and his hair is like fading away. He's getting like bald spots. Like the hair on the back of his neck's getting all gray. And his face is even starting to age more. And it's just very noticeable. Like some good makeup work to make him look like that. And it's very sad. Obviously, he's doing better in Rocky or Creed 2. Because I saw Creed 2 and I didn't look at him like, that guy looks like he has cancer. So I'm guessing he got better in between movies. So if you think about it, Rocky and Creed are fighting this movie. You know, Creed's fighting an actual person and Rocky's fighting cancer. So we got 2 fights going on in this movie. We get the return of the Rocky score. They don't use it too much in this movie. They kind of like throw it in for a little bit and then towards the end of the movie. And then Creed loses, just like Rocky Balboa, and Rocky won. He loses. It's like a split decision, but they give it to the champion. Yeah, we've seen it before. I mean, there's only 2 endings you can get, really. Lose or win. Which one do you want? I was expecting him to win because, like I said, I've seen Creed 2, and I thought in the beginning Creed 2 he was already established as like a world champion. So I was like, oh, so he's going to win in this movie, right? Nope, he lost. And then to end this movie, they go up those famous steps now established as basically a very popular set piece for this franchise, the Philadelphia steps. I'm not sure if there's like an official title for them, but they're just the steps, and he goes up them. And they raise their hands and the movie's over. I thought this movie's pretty great. I mean, it's its own new thing. You know, it's got franchise potential. We already got a sequel, and I'm sure they're gonna make like a Creed 3. But I already heard that Rocky. No, I keep calling him Rocky. That's like his name now. Sylvester Stallone. I heard Sylvester Stallone already came out and said. I heard this like a couple months ago that he said he doesn't want to do any more. Like not Creed, not Rocky, nothing. He's done. So if they do make a Creed 3. Where are they going to take Rocky? Are they going to say, oh, that cancer came back and it killed him? I would hope they treat his character a little bit better than that. Don't just be like, oh, you got cancer, he's dead. He's out! But this movie was pretty damn good. The pacing was pretty good, and the story, sure, it borrows a lot from a couple of the first 2 Rocky movies, but at least it's a different person. It's Creed now. The movie was probably shot better. It's one of the better shot Rocky movies, in my opinion. So therefore, when it comes to Creed, I gotta say that I highly recommend that you go out and buy it. Keep an eye out for my Rocky ranking. I'm going to be ranking all of them from worst to best, and I will probably drop tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. Also, thank you so much for watching all these if you have. If you haven't, I'll leave a link for all my Rocky rankings, or my Rocky reviews, so you can see them all. This was my first time watching all these movies, and I gotta say, I don't know why. I wish I would have saw these growing up. That way I would have a little bit more nostalgia towards them, but I don't, so therefore my ranking will be legit. There will be no nostalgia. Some people cheat. They go, I saw this one first, so therefore it's Number 1. You won't get that from me. It's going to be a legit ranking, so look out for it. But those are my thoughts on Creed. Is this your favorite of the Creeds? Creed 1, Creed 2? Which one's your favorite? I think this one's a little bit better than Creed 2. But anyways, let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. And as always, you can hit this like button to support this video. And to support my channel, all you have to do is click on my cartoon face in 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.